Hello and welcome to Left Footers, the unlikely five-a-side podcast with me, Aaron J.
And me, Jason Stamp.
This is a podcast where we essentially pick five-a-side teams based on the most random players we can think of. This week, we are building up to the new Premier League season, and we are going with the best value Premier League players we can think of with very little research.
Speak for yourself.
Okay.
I've screenshotted at least 3 things for this podcast.
Okay, nice. And 2 of them are pictures of your piece, so...
Yeah. Did you get them? Though?
Yeah. You had to drop
Still downloading. Shout out, Dion. So this is bargains. Bargain. Not even bargain basement,
mate.
just bargains, right? We've already had a conflict on one.
Yeah. You can go.
I'll go first. It gives you time to think about the one you replaced him with last second.
It's all right, I've already done it.
So my goalkeeper, I've gone with, I think, is the ultimate bargain goalkeeper in Premier League history.
Okay.
Brad Friedel.
Yeah.
Obviously, you'd go on for the same thing as I perused your notes before we started. So, obviously on the same mindset. Free transfer to Blackburn from Liverpool. Obviously had lots of games for lots of clubs in the end. Villa and Spurs were in the mix at the end of it, and wherever he ended up before that. But
there was a clause, wasn't there, in the Liverpool fee that after he played X amount of games, it was a £200,000 fee that needed to be paid.
Yeah.
Blackburn were like, by the time he'd got there, like it was worth its weight in gold.
I think so. On paper, I heard this as well. So on paper, it was a free transfer, but because he paid 200 or nearly 300 games for them, it ended up at £300,000. So, regardless, I brought him up as well because Graham Souness, when he was manager of Blackburn, he said he guarantees you like 12 points a season with his saves, which is probably right.
Yeah.
But the other thing is 288 consecutive Premiership games.
Really?
Yeah. Until he was dropped for Hugo Lloris at Spurs, which he did a few games as well. I think you're hard pushed to, and also a good keeper without probably looking like he should be a good keeper.
All of the American goalkeepers were bald.
They were, but he looks like someone who would have a pickup truck and a shotgun. Brad Friedel.
He looks like you've bought Bruce Willis on Wish.
Yeah, well, like fucking Bruce Willis looks like Bruce Willis off Wish now. I think Brad Friedel, for me, I just think...
Bruce Willis looks like Brad Friedel off of Wish now. Like it's all sort of gone full circle.
That's how life turns around on you. Circle of life. The good thing about looking haggard and old your whole life is I saw him on TalkSport recently, and Brad Friedel looks exactly the same as he did when he was a professional footballer. Because he played till he was 63.
Yeah.
He's
been the same age for years.
Yeah, in his face, definitely. Because he looks like an old walnut, doesn't he? But I just think someone like him... But I think if anybody like a big club was looking for a keeper around about that time, I don't think anyone would have thought about him.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just so solid, so consistent. And you think he was he would have been playing like people like Ryan Nelson and Samba. Was it Chris Samba?
Samba,
people like that. So decent defenders, but you're going to have work to do.
Yeah.
So he's a good goalkeeper. But so I think that was, as we both realised, that was a very easy choice for the bargain there.
I've gone with Joe Hart for my goalkeeper.
Terrible idea. I don't know why you didn't think of Brad Friedel. What's the rationale behind Joe Hart? You had 12 seconds to pick one. So
he joined City from Shrewsbury as a youngster.
Yeah.
He was on the bench for Shrewsbury a couple of times when he was 15. So he had to get special written permission from school and parents and stuff that he could go to the games, particularly midweek and stuff. Was number 1 at Shrewsbury for a little bit as well. City picked him up as a youth goalkeeper at the same time that they sort of had Kasper Schmeichel in their youth setup as well. So there were lots of keepers in and around City. I think Isaacson was the number 1. They had Nicky Weaver there as well, David James, maybe even David Seaman.
Yeah, you're right. They did have a proper little mixed bag. They had a big
core of sort of good goalkeepers that he worked under, was able to sort of pick things up from. and then all of a sudden becomes the solidified Manchester City #1.
I always found it
wins
weird.
the title with them, and I think you can't get more of a bargain than someone you've bought from lower leagues. So it would have been League 1, League 2 with Shrewsbury.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then he's been your
be
#1 when you've won the Premiership.
It's a weird one as well because I remember when he came.
Worst tattoo in the world, though.
Or
Did you see that?
black-
Just that black band, like he's mourning his career.
That's his hairline that he won't give up on. It's a weird one because
It's like Peps, he just plays the wing backs really deep.
yeah, he does. But he had that started that season where he broke through. I remember Kasper Schmeichel started the season, played X amount of games,
Yeah.
5-6 games or whatever. Because I remember City beat United 1-0, and this wasn't City now. This was
Sven, wasn't it?
Sven, yeah. So like not great players. They
But
spent
yeah,
a bit
not
of money, but
awful,
not on
but-
level. But very much a mid-tables team, you would have thought. But and then all of a sudden, I wouldn't have said there was much between them at the time. And obviously they've both gone on to be Premier League winners and have good careers.
Yeah.
But for someone to go, no, it's you, and make that call, like they obviously saw something and actually probably proved you could have flipped the coin and they both would have gone and done well because they both have. Schmeichel's obviously gone a much harder route.
Yeah, still
Whereas-
playing as well.
Yeah, it's just signed for Celtic, hasn't he?
Has he?
It's just signed for Celtic
I
this
didn't
week.
know.
Yeah.
He was at Anderlecht.
Yeah,
wasn't he,
he's
last
signed for
season?
Celtic this week. So yeah, I saw him fist bumping, beating Chelsea 4-1 in a friendly. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, you wait
Oh,
till
well.
they get dicked by some third division Slovakian team or whatever in whatever qualifying of some European team.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's a good shout. But I don't think
It's not my first choice, but you know.
weren't Pep's either, was it? But he, I think it's that.
But look how that went. He went for Claudio Bravo, and he had a honking year.
He was a honker, wasn't it? Yeah. I think it's. I always kind of romanticise the idea of this young English talent coming through. So when people like to come through and they're playing for England, I liked him for England, and then obviously you realise over time he can't dive to his left and things like that. But like
He
it's
just says, decent.
yeah.
That's what he does, like on Cameo now, isn't it?
Is it?
Just wishes people a happy birthday.
Is that his?
I reckon if we had a whip round with all of our listeners, if all of our listeners stuck a tenner in, we could easily get Joe Hart as a guest.
Also, just click that the person who's taken over from Joe Hart at Celtic is Kasper Schmeichel.
Yeah.
Although Kasper Schmeichel's like 37, so I think he's older than Joe Hart. But
He's older than Peter at this point.
But yeah, I think that's a good shout. Good shout.
Sweet. Who you gone
At
for?
short notice.
Who have you gone for in defence? Mate, give me a short notice, I'll pull it out of the bag. So I get the majority of my work.
Right, so I have gone. So my defender is Kolo Touré.
Yeah, I considered Kolo Touré.
Yeah,
as well.
so I never got. I knew it'd come from sort of a team we wouldn't be aware of, but yeah, I didn't. £150,000.
Yeah.
And would he go to City for 20 odd after a really distinguished Arsenal career?
Yeah. Was he
can't-
part of the Invincibles?
Yeah, I'm sure he was. Yeah. 2009. Yeah, it would have been, yeah.
So was it? It was Monaco, wasn't it? He was at Monaco.
No, you're thinking of Yaya. This is Kolo Touré came from ASEC Mimosas
Oh, nice.
to Arsenal for
A
150.
sec and mimosa.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like a
them.
bottomless brunch.
Ivorian side.
Okay, well,
So,
that
yeah.
makes sense, doesn't it? With him
Ignorant.
being an Ivorian man.
Yes. So yeah, 150 grand. And then, although I did hear, was it him? I'm sure there was a story about him two-footing
Yeah.
Thierry Henry, was it?
Yeah,
in
they told
training.
him to. Yeah.
Yeah, big fan of that. Yeah, so I don't think there's much more to say about it. Good, sir. Obviously, he had a ill-fated stint as Wigan manager. I don't know if he's back coaching because he was with Brendan Rodgers for a bit before
Yeah,
that.
he was with Brendan at Celtic, I believe.
And Leicester. No,
He
yes.
was at Leicester. He went with him.
Yeah.
He was at Celtic the first time. Then he went with him to Leicester. I don't know whether he's still with Maresca at Leicester or whether he went back to Celtic.
He went to Wigan,
before
didn't he?
was-
Last season, got fired after like 9 games.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he's coaching again.
He went back, right? He's somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I can't even say I particularly rated him when he played, but he must have been good
Yeah.
to be in that. So because whatever happened to Arsenal towards the end of Wenger's period, they were a good side. It's just everyone else got more money, and when they got the stadium, obviously they dipped with what they could spend, so they couldn't keep up.
There is a third Toure brother as well, isn't there? That isn't as good as the other two, but still plays football. You must be fuming if you were that Toure.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like having two brothers that were at the peak of their career. Like, they couldn't have gone any better.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like playing in Belgium's 3rd division.
Yeah, it'd be annoying, wouldn't it? You wouldn't want to go in for Christmas, would you?
No, he'd be fuming.
Oh, that's bad enough. Yeah.
Even if he was like a doctor or a dentist or something, you're still not as good as your two brothers.
Yeah, you like, even like Yaya. It's like, what did you get up to the week? Won Champions League. What about you? Just
No, did
burst
a root canal,
appendix.
yeah.
Your dentist is fucking keen, isn't he? Yeah. Yeah, so there's not more to say about him other than didn't really rate him, but he's had a hell of a career.
Yeah,
What are you joking? What was it? The team he came from also produced Emmanuel Eboué, remember him?
I do.
Solomon Kalou.
He was going to be one of my tweets of the week, but I'll save that for another episode.
Because you forgot to do it. Javinho, do you remember him with the
Yeah, with
fucking
the big
mad
eye.
hairline?
With the 6 head, yeah.
Yeah, but like had that thing where he just strapped some, like whatever his bit was left on top, he had the long dreads, didn't he?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
just had him taped round the front to make it look like he had a fringe.
Yeah.
Like a predator. It was fucking mad. And Yaya Toure all came from the same clip. God, man, that's some fucking mad succession, isn't it?
That's good.
Sounds
Obviously.
like they've run out now, but either way.
Yeah, they might not have. Who knows?
Go on, who you got in defence?
I've gone for Lucas Neal.
Ooh, Aussie.
Yeah, I think. Or is he New Zealand? No, he is Aussie, yeah. Same
Yeah.
difference, isn't it?
Millwall to Blackburn.
Millwall to Blackburn
West Ham?
to West Ham. Not a player that's necessarily a household name, but a player that sort of went through the Premier League, played to a good standard of football for quite modest fees throughout his career, always played well. You know, he also looked like, if he wasn't a professional footballer, he'd be like the bad guy in Hollyoaks.
Yeah. Oh, look at this shady guy who's just bought the nightclub.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah,
Two
not
first
EastEnders.
names. Although, actually, he's got a first name and a surname, but they're the wrong way round.
Yeah, Neil Lucas would sound.
Neil Lucas sounds like an insurance broker.
Yeah, no, the guy who bought the nightclub in Hollyoaks.
Yeah.
Can you have a bad guy called Neil?
Yeah, I reckon.
Okay.
If he was always kneeling down.
Each to their own. What kind of bad guy is he?
You know what I'm talking.
He's a bad man.
He's a bad boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucas Neal.
I feel like he's the kind of player, if he played now, we would hear VAR check Lucas Neal quite often.
Yeah.
Because he was a dirty bastard, wasn't he?
He's the sort of player that if he played now, he wouldn't have got above League Two.
No, yeah. Leave one on you.
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
the
cool.
sort of person that you wouldn't want to... that Neil Lucas wouldn't want to insure as a footballer.
Yeah, good shout. That is a random one. Yeah, I didn't think of that one.
Yeah.
I've gone. He is a defender, but he's more a marauding wing back, really.
Okay.
Seamus Coleman.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Sligo Rovers to Everton, £60,000.
That's...
Obviously, he's still there now. Made over 400 appearances, which apparently equates to about £140 a match. Since he's joined.
You know, that's probably
Pay
less than what
subs.
a box is.
Yeah.
Really.
Easily, yeah. Yeah, I think obviously he's a bit older now. He's the mature guy. I think he's club captain now. But I always really rated him. I thought he'd be a great signing
The
for
older
someone.
guy, the mature guy, is 35.
That's you've only just
cuts deep.
You've only just turned 30, but it's like I think I equated like how old I was getting when I realised I'd hit an age like early 30s, where on Football Manager I'd only offer myself a 1 year deal.
To be fair, Jess is thinking the same.
1 year? I'm on a rolling contract. It's like, I'm like any person in my position, a journeyman. I'm just thinking if I make it to Christmas, I've got a chance.
It's the only wedding I know where an agent's been present when you've signed before.
She wasn't my agent then. She wasn't my agent. Yeah, I only signed one contract that day. Yeah, it cost me a lot more than 10% though. So yeah, Seamus Scott, I think he's a great player. Like I say, do you know what? There's a lot to be said for loyalty, and everyone gets slagged off for not being loyal. And I don't know if any significant bids ever came in for someone like Seamus Coleman, but I do feel he could have played at a higher level. And that's not to say Everton weren't sort of top 6, 7 for a lot of his career there, but I would have liked to have seen him at a United, or I don't know, maybe even who did Arsenal have at right back? Clichy. What's the other one? Sanger
They'd
and
have
people
had
like
Bellerin for a while. Hector Bellerin would have
that.
been
Yeah, so
the
maybe
main
like that. But
right
like
back.
United had a specific problem after Gary Neville, where we ended up like with the interchangeable Brazilian De Silva twins. Like we didn't know which one was which.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone.
You had Valencia there for a while as well.
Do you know what? He did well at right back, to be honest. I know he was a good right back because he just had an engine and had a bit of end product. But like, yeah, but that's just another sign of that was a solution to a problem that we hadn't fixed.
Yeah.
So someone like a Seamus Coleman, I think, would have been a great signing for a team like that. It would have been interesting to see if he could have played at a higher level, which I'm confident he would have. But at the same time, fair play. Been there since 2009. Still there. Like,
Still.
Definitely got their money's worth.
Still doing his thing.
Yeah.
I like it. I've gone for Riyad Mahrez.
I've taken it the Leicester transfer, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Leicester transfer. So Nigel Pearson signed him from Le Havre. It was 150,000, I believe.
That's mad, isn't it?
Um,
How long was he there before they won the title?
he was there the season they got promoted from the
So
Championship.
he played in the Championship?
That was the season.
So you think
that
he's
they
had
signed
2
him.
years and then just tore two, like one in the Champ, one in the Premier, and then tore up the
Another
Premier?
one in the Prem.
Yeah. It was the second year, wasn't it? So they scraped out of relegation
He
the
got
first
him
year.
up, pretty much.
So yeah, 1 year, same with Vardy though, wasn't it? Because he did not a lot the first year. He had a good game against United, I remember, and then they scraped survival. Obviously, Pearson gets binned off, and then they just tore it up, didn't they?
The funny thing about Mahrez when he joined Leicester was he'd like bought like a 4-bedroom house in Leicester without much thought going into the area. So he bought like a 4-5-bedroom house, but it was on an absolute hovel of a road. So he like just lived amongst the fans for a while.
That's got to be a weird thing, because I bet there's a time where, like, say you change countries, and I watched a bit of that Married to the Game, where like they just Riyad Mahrez in that actually. He just comes home and he's like, "We're moving to Saudi."
Part of the game, isn't it? He sounds like Frank Butcher when he says it.
Yeah. But he's just like moving to Saudi, and that's it. And then he's gone. I don't think he pops home. Like, he's on a plane to Saudi, and his wife, who's from Manchester, has now got to pack up their lives and leave Manchester. And to the point where I remember she phones like the hotel that they're going to be staying in Saudi for a bit, and goes, "Want to be respectful for the culture. So what kind of costume should I wear in the swimming pool?" And he just goes, "It's a men's swimming pool." So like even that, right? But yeah, it must be a weird thing where all of a sudden you're in a different country. Like you could be.
I'm pretty sure he's Muslim.
No, but I'm talking about, like, so when you move clubs, you could move anywhere in this country and have no idea what the housing market's like. Short of going, I'm in London, I'm in here, like where I know it's expensive. So say, you moved from.
Well, it would have been from France to Leicester.
Exactly. So, but even like, I don't know. Yeah, say that he moves to Cambridge for whatever reason, he could go £1 million house. I bet that's spectacular.
Yeah,
and it's
just
not
on Mill Road.
It's because you're near a train station and you've got 3 kebab vans over the road. It's different, isn't it? Like, so worth £1 million, obviously, but like it must be mad. Just those the little things that you don't even think about.
Yeah, well, I've gone for Riyad Mahrez.
Great shout. Yeah. That's the game. Just left.
Still good.
I just got 2 defenders, a goalkeeper. Who else do I have? Oh yeah, midfielder. This is a bit of an obvious one when you say it out loud. But you just have Mahrez. But Patrick Vieira.
Yep.
3.5 mil, and then obviously just what a player, absolute beast. Led that team. I think after I assume he was there same sort of time, but like you're going to lose people like Tony Adams at a point, and Steve Bolds and all those. Keown's, he's a boring cunt, isn't he? Martin Keown, fucking whoever's like just. He looks like someone's left a picture of someone on a table and a kid's just scribbled in a hairline. Like, just give it up. Go, do what you got to do. Just get it fucking replaced or get rid of it. Like, it's bullshit. Like, I was going bald, went and got it done. If I didn't, I'd have just got rid of it, right? I can't be doing this lightly sketched fucking hairline. Like, you've got lights on you. It's bullshit. And then you're a boring, tedious cunt at the same time. Honestly,
you're not talking about Martin Keown.
Martin Keown, I'm talking about him. Remember this fucking hard man on the pitch thing? Like, 3.5 million from Milan, as my stepdad would say. Yeah, and I think he just had a bit of everything. Silky, skillful, just strong, massive frame. When they used to, like say, United and Arsenal both at their pomp, both battling out for titles every year, they were so much better than United, so technically gifted, they could do it. But then, so United had to try and beat them up, but they could have a scrap, like all of them. They were big boy, like Manuel Petit, all of them could have a row. Like, and those games, I remember the 4-2 at old Highbury, with the tunnel thing with Gary Neville, looking like your little brother, like, I want to get my big brother after you, and Keane's having it. Like, just these battles, it was just great, just blood and thunder, like, yeah, brilliant games to watch. She didn't always come out on the right side of it. And I just think he was one of them players that could have played, you hate players that play for other teams, but I think anybody would have had him. Like, he's so good. And he never came across as an arsehole either. He always thought, I've seen him on punditry and stuff, and I know it's a different game, but he never came across as anything other than, this is my club, I'm here for it. And you got to respect that, I think. Like, and they backed it up. They won things. I think a great player, yeah.
I've gone for N'Golo Kante.
Ooh, imagine them in the midfield together.
Yeah, 5.6 million to Leicester from Caen.
Caen.
Caen. To win the league with Leicester.
I think it goes without saying. And
then the amount that he went to Chelsea for, like, it just.
And actually, that was a release clause. God knows what he would have gone for if it had been an open market, but. The biggest compliment I think you can give N'Golo Kante is how good he made Danny Drinkwater look.
Yeah.
Because he got a move.
I mean, apparently N'Golo Kante is now going to be a bricklayer and he's going to help Drinkwater out on site. Because the managers realised,
the manager of the site's realised you can't have one without the other.
Yeah, exactly.
Want to do all the carrying, and then then Danny will just like. Or whatever real men do.
He'll just the point in.
I think he's a great. Like I say, just lovely bloke. Everyone loves him. He's just a really sweet guy. Like the pictures of him with the World Cup, where they almost have to go, go on in.
Yeah, or the picture of him with the bike helmet.
Yeah,
he's very cute.
He's a cute man, but it just seems like a thoroughly nice guy with his little driving his Mini round. Never replaced it for a big supercar or anything like that. Yeah, great. Right. Yeah, I think that's a brilliant pick.
Are you going up top?
I think this is one of the best buys you've ever seen in the Premier League, just in terms of the catalyst and what it did to change a team from a decent team to a dominant force for the next X amount of years. And I've gone for Eric Cantona.
Yeah.
I think it was 1.2 million from Leeds. Obviously, he won the last First Division title with Leeds the year before, had a falling out by all accounts, which wasn't unusual for him.
Yeah. Keep going.
Just on my own. All by myself.
You're fine.
And the thing is, it all came about because of Dion Dublin. So Man United's big signing at the start of that season was Dion Dublin from Cambridge United, £1 million, I think. Man United had a really ropey start to that season. Big doobs. Dion Dublin breaks his leg, gets Crystal Palace, terrible injury. And the way they reacted to replace him was to go and spend this money on Cantona. I think the phone call started about Leeds asking about Dennis Irwin. We end up with Cantona. Leeds end up where they end up, and United end up where they end up. And I think, they at the end of a couple of seasons, good seasons, then Fergie made the big decision to get rid of Ince, Kanchelskis, Hughes, bring these youth players through, all while Eric Cantona's serving this ban for the Kung Fu kick. And when he comes in, it all just clicks. He's the leader, the figurehead, the inspiration, the muse. And I don't think the class of 92 gets to where it gets to without him being the person in that team when they come through. Just made everything click. And I just think he was a great player, the flair and everything like that, but was bigger than you thought. He's 6'1" or something like that. Strong as anything, could hold up the ball, and just had this. Just the skills in it. Like, I loved watching him. I think he was brilliant. I think he could have done anything, and obviously checked out at about 29. Was like, fuck that, done. Cheers.
I like it.
So that's mine.
I've gone for Lualua, Lamana Trezor Lualua.
Yeah, I mean you can say him in the same breath as Eric Cantona, obviously.
Reason I've gone for him as a bargain is
did he end up at Colchester as well?
He started at Colchester, so we picked him up as a young man. He was sort of playing he was playing for Colne Community College, I believe. got picked up by Colchester, moved to Newcastle for 2.25 million, which was our record transfer received. He didn't really play that much for Newcastle. The reason I think he was valuable is because he went on loan to Portsmouth.
Yeah, he scored against them.
That's right, yeah. So I was trying to build up a little bit of of mystique. So Bobby Robson wasn't playing him. He then falls out with Robson a little bit because Lualua's gone to the press saying that he thinks that he should be playing.
Yeah.
Goes to Portsmouth and is allowed to play against his parent club, and he scores the winner for Portsmouth against Newcastle to win the game.
I think
the rule then comes in that loan players can't play against their parent club. He not only scores the goal, he celebrates.
Oh, it was a spectacular somersaults, wasn't it, with this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the wrong way round, in that I understand that at that point it is open to interpretation, but the rule should be so you don't chuck one in, like when you're playing your parent club, not when you score the winner. If anything, that's almost like that is cheating the other team that are paying his wages when you can't play. But yeah, no, fair play. That's a good shout. I remember the somersaults more than the player, but the
good player, mate. Very criminally underrated player. But
good shout.
That's my team. We have been Left Footers, the unlikely five-a-side podcast. I've gone for Joe Hart, Lucas Neal, N'Golo Kante, Riyad Mahrez, and Lamana Trezor Lualua. You have gone for
Brad Friedel, Seamus Coleman, Colo Toure, Patrick Vieira, and King Cantona.
There we go. See you soon.
Ta.